The European tour is over. And tonight, WWE was in Montreal. They were at the Bell Center on the eve of Saturday night's main event with as quiet a crowd, as quiet a Canadian crowd as I have ever seen. Not that they were given a whole lot to be excited about. They weren't. I don't blame the crowd. I love my fans up in Canada. I love the best wrestling fans. A lot of the best wrestling fans, you will find them in Canada. But tonight, they really didn't have a whole lot to get excited about. You know, we are heading into the Royal Rumble, which is not tomorrow, but it is a week from tomorrow. This is, and I can sit here and say this. I mean, I go back in my brain and try to figure out a different answer to this. This is the worst and weakest build to a Royal Rumble since the early ones. Really, since the first two, I would say. This is the worst Royal Rumble build in decades. And it pains me to say that because the Royal Rumble is my favorite show of the year. More than WrestleMania, more than SummerSlam, more than any of the other ones. So the build to the Royal Rumble has not been good. Before we get to the Royal Rumble, though, we have Saturday night's main event. We have 4 matches. We had 3, now we have 4 on the card for tomorrow. And that will be on Peacock. Outside the U.S., I guess it would be on Netflix, I believe. But here in the States, it'll be on the cock. And so tonight, that really is what the show was primarily geared towards. You know, keying up the key matches for Saturday night's main event tomorrow. But I've been very complimentary of SmackDown over the last few weeks. In fact, since they moved back to 3 hours, I would say that for the last few weeks, it has not felt like 3 hours. They've done a pretty good job of diversifying the segments and getting new faces on the show and keeping the show interesting enough to where you don't really feel like, oh man, this show is a slog. Oh man, this show feels like it's just never going to end, right? Well, the streak is over. The streak is over. I cannot sit here and say that about tonight's show. Tonight's show felt like it was 4 hours long. That's what this show felt like. This show felt every bit of those 3 hours. It really hit me when they sent Drew McIntyre out there to do that promo. And I'm like, well, it was a way to eat up some time here on a 3-hour show. As pointless a Drew McIntyre promo as you will ever see. And I like seeing Drew McIntyre on the show generally when he has something of substance to do. Tonight was not one of those nights, at least not in that particular segment. I will also point out to you that 4 of the 6 matches that we had on the show tonight ended with some sort of interference. Someone getting involved, someone causing a disqualification, or whatever it was. 4 of the 6 matches tonight. We do have a new match added to Saturday night's main event. The reason that AJ Styles was invited to the show tonight by Nick Aldis had to do with a match that AJ will now have tomorrow against Shinsuke Nakamura, an old rival of his, even pre-WWE. But in WWE, they had many matches. They had a WrestleMania match. It was a very disappointing WrestleMania match, but they had a WrestleMania match, which is hard to believe it was 8 years ago, but it was. And so now AJ and Nakamura will have what I presume will end up being their final match together. And that will take place tomorrow. And I think that's cool. You know, one more time, at least on TV, one more time in the ring together, right? These two guys in the past have had some battles and they had at least that one classic match. I wouldn't call any of their WWE matches classic, but certainly the match they had in New Japan, that was a classic match. So that brings the card tomorrow up from 3 matches to 4. We also had a segment. This was the best thing on the entire show. It was not a match. It did not even happen in front of the live audience. It was a sit-down interview that Michael Cole was to have conducted with Cody Rhodes. And it was hijacked very early on by Jacob Fatu. So we had a face-to-face between Cody and Fatu stemming from their recent issues. Of course, it goes back to the cage match at the end of 3 Stages of Hell when Jacob returned and he ended up costing Cody the WWE Championship. And then last week they were just going after each other. They had to be pulled apart. So they're going to have a match tomorrow. The face-to-face between them on this show, that more than anything else that they did, sold me on that match on that show and me wanting to tune in to see that tomorrow. It was the best Jacob Fatu promo that he's been involved in since he joined the company. And the thing that stands out to me, and the thing I love about Fatu, when you are able to get him in a situation like this, there is an authenticity there that not very many people have. There are people who have it. CM Punk is one of those people. But there's just an authenticity to the way that he carries himself and he speaks and he cuts a promo where it doesn't feel like he's on television playing a character. It doesn't feel like he's on the show playing a part. It doesn't feel like he's on the show trying to remember his lines. It really feels like what you see is what you get. This is the real, authentic him. And are we going to get the menace Jacob Fatu, who's just raging out of control tomorrow? Or are we going to get the more sort of measured, calculated Fatu that he teased at the end of this promo? So I was a big fan of what they did with the two of them. I'm looking forward to that match. That was the highlight of the show for me, outside of the U.S. title open challenge, because we had yet another match between Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov, which ended with The Miz getting it. We got a winner, but it ended with The Miz sticking his nose in and getting involved in the match. And oh yeah, by the way, I haven't even mentioned the fact that we have new WWE Tag Team Champions, and I could not give a single solitary shit. That was the worst thing on the entire show. We'll talk about that and why. This is your Friday Night Smackdown review. It is January 23rd, 2026. I am the Solomonster. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open. We have a goal. I see we're already ticking up on the goal. That's good to see. We're going to hang out and entertain ourselves, I think, more than we did being entertained by WWE tonight, because this was not a great show. But yes, like and subscribe. If you have a super chat you want to drop, go ahead and do so. I will be reading them a little bit later on here in the stream. And there she is. You will see them popping up on your screen. You might even hear a few of them as we go along here. And since we were talking about Saturday night's main event, I should point out that I will be live. Tomorrow night, you get another podcast out of me this weekend, because as soon as Saturday night's main event is over, you can come back to the channel here and we'll talk about all 4 matches on this very stacked card tomorrow night. But that one right there, Cody and Fatu, that is the one that I am looking forward to the most. So it's an 8 p.m. Saturday night's main event. So I'll probably be live around the same time I am tonight, probably a little bit earlier, maybe 11-ish. So hopefully I will see you guys there. Now let's get into this show. 3 fucking hours of this. Let's not waste any more time here. They were in Montreal, and Sami Zayn was the hometown boy. So, of course, he got a hero's welcome coming out to open the show. He addressed the crowd in French before he said that he felt like he had all the momentum heading into tomorrow night, because he had a chance to become the #1 contender for the WWE Championship. Isaac, yes, you know, I did want to mention that. We actually do. We have a hell of a storm. I'm not talking about Jade Cargill. A storm is coming, like a real storm is coming here in New York tomorrow. But I know there's a lot of... Oh my God, not even the power of Bree mode can keep the snow away. Yeah, we have a hell of a storm coming our way, and you guys, wherever you may be, you may well have one coming your way too, because this thing is just a freaking... This weather is a monster right now. It's affecting so many different states, so many different parts of the country. Texas is affected. So wherever you may be, and I did forget the wheel. Thank you for reminding me. We're going to spin the wheel as well, because I forgot to mention the likes. But I just wanted to say stay safe wherever you may be. I always say it at the end of every podcast I do on Sunday. You know, be well, stay safe. But definitely, wherever you are, don't go out if you don't have to. It's also fucking cold. There's some places where it's like 20 below. Which is terrible, by the way. Like here in New York, we're going to get pounded by the snow, and then the temperatures are in like the teens. So that's not going to help matters. It'd be one thing if it was going to be like in the upper 30s, 40s, you know, that shit starts to melt, but that's not going to happen here. So anyway, stay safe wherever you may be. Now, yes, let's bring up the Wheel of Fun. I almost forgot it because there was not a lot of fun to be had watching SmackDown tonight. But let's go ahead and take the wheel for a spin and find out what the likes goal is for Be the Booker tonight. We leave it up to the wheel. Whatever it says goes. There it is. 400. Minimum 400 likes. And you guys will get your Be the Booker later on here in the stream. Thank you for reminding me, by the way. So anyway, he was quickly interrupted, Sami Zayn was, by Trick Williams. And Williams said that he and Sami were not on the same level. Now, he called Zayn Mr. Too Many Chances, said that he knew how to get the job done, unlike Sami, reminding Sami of his loss to Roman Reigns right here in Montreal for the WWE Championship at the Elimination Chamber 3 years ago. So Sami acknowledged that Trick was right about his loss, and he admitted that Trick might be a future star. Might be. Zayn said that he and Williams were nothing alike, and that Williams would be lucky to be half as good as he was 5 years down the line. And if Trick didn't like that, he could do something about it right now. So Williams refused that challenge. He had a lot of things on his mind. He has the Damian Priest coming up, in fact, in the main event tonight on this show. He told Sami that they could take care of business tomorrow night. And that brought out Damian Priest, who joined the other two in the ring. And Priest said that Williams was afraid of him because of the way that he didn't talk to his face last week, because of what he would do to him. And Priest said that if Williams didn't want to say something, he could always do something. So Trick responded by asking if Priest thought that he was afraid to pop off. And he told Priest, "Watch this." And then he hit Sami in the head with the microphone. He threw a punch at Priest, who blocked it and fired back in the corner. Sami then approached, and he went after Williams himself, much to Damian's dismay. And in all the chaos, Williams shoved Priest into Sami and then got the hell out of Dodge. So Trick Williams continues to shine in these types of segments. They're sending him out there live in the ring with some big names, whether it be Randy Orton, whether it be Sami Zayn, Damian Priest, not as big as the other two, not as doesn't have as much equity on the main roster yet as the other two do, but these are all the big names on SmackDown. Now, it's not like he's hanging out every week with Johnny Gargano and Rey Fenix. I mean, they have him in there with the heavy hitters, and he just fits. You know, he just feels like he belongs, and that's a good thing. And they're trusting him to put him in these types of situations. Obviously, he's in what I figure will be the main event of the show tomorrow. He was in the main event of the show tonight against Damian Priest. So they're putting him in these situations. It's to test him, but also because they think, hey, we really got something here, and let's see. We need stars. We need heels. I just talked about this on the Sound Off last week when I was talking about the roster, right? The way the roster looks on SmackDown. And what do you do with Powerhouse Hobbs, who is officially signed now to WWE? Do you send him to NXT first? Because NXT just got raided, right? They could use someone like him in NXT. He would do well in NXT. But fuck that. They need him on SmackDown. SmackDown needs heels. Because outside of Drew McIntyre and Trick Williams and maybe Aleister Black, they ain't got none. Oh, I'm sorry. We have Solo Sikoa. Forgot about him. It's pretty dire on the heel side right now. So that's a move I would love to see. But Trick, they need Trick to step up because they need guys. And I think so far he's doing very well. And he's going to eat the pin from Sami Zayn tomorrow night. Randy Orton was shown watching what just transpired, and he was interviewed by Kathy Kelly. So Orton said that this year was the year of the Viper, and he would win his 15th World Championship. Tomorrow at Saturday night's main event, he's going to beat Sami Zayn. He's going to beat Damian Priest. He's going to whoop that Trick. And then he's going to fly halfway across the world to Saudi Arabia to fight Drew McIntyre for the title. And as he was cutting this promo, he was so intense in the delivery of this promo, like his veins were bulging out of their neck, out of his neck, out of his neck. Like he had two snakes on each side. But his veins were bulging out of his neck. He's all fired up. We got footage from earlier today. I sound like Big Show now in 2000. after the Royal Rumble. I've got footage. We got footage of Carmelo Hayes running into Ilya Dragunov backstage earlier in the day. And Dragunov was sporting a nasty shiner after his very brutal battle with Sami Zayn. So he said, he was all beat up, and he kind of feigned that he wouldn't be able to accept the invitation if he was extending the invitation to him for the open challenge tonight. But it was just a put on. He smiled and he said, I'll see you out there. So Dragunov left, and The Miz showed up. So he was complaining about this generation of wrestlers being all soft and nice to each other. I can't wait to go out there and have a great match with you. I look forward to meeting you in the ring. And he said that the problem with this generation is that nobody hates each other anymore. And you know what? I agree with that. I agree with The Miz. 100%. That is one of the things that is missing from wrestling and missing from WWE these days, as compared to certain other eras that we have had, where either A, you have legitimately had top-level guys that clearly do not like each other, and sometimes that kind of spills over onto the screen, or at least they do such a good job of making you believe that they don't like each other. And there really is a lot of real, it comes across as real hatred and friction between the top 4 or 5 guys on the show. We don't have that anymore. We really don't. We kind of had that with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre last year. But we really don't have enough of that anymore. And it really is more like, hey, let's go out there and steal the show and have a banger match. When, give me both. Give me banger matches and give me hatred. What's so wrong about giving both to the audience? Give me some banging hatred. So Miz asked Hayes what Dragunov ever did for him. Hayes said that Dragunov gave him more of an opportunity than Miz ever did. Lucky Dog says, I refuse to agree with the Miz and anything. I'm telling you, he's right on this. He's right on this. The problem is, though, we live in an age where we have things like WWE Unreal. So you're never going to be able to have that. It's just, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. Every now and then you'll get the odd feud that will come along, like a Punk and McIntyre, that does really make you believe. So it's not impossible to pull it off, but they just make it so much more difficult with each passing year. So we had Carmelo Hayes against Ilya Dragunov for the United States Championship in the Open Challenge. Within the first, I would say, 3 minutes of this match, Dragunov was already bleeding. Looked like he was bleeding above the eye over here somewhere. And I'm just like, I swear this man has thinner skin than Ric Flair. Literally, thinner skin, because that's why Flair bleeds so easily. His skin on his forehead is so thin. He's got thinner skin than Flair does, because every match, if there's one thing you could count on, and it's not quite the same as Jon Moxley in AEW, where he's either on camera sometimes just slicing himself open, or he's throwing himself onto a board with barbed wire and broken glass, right? That's a little bit different. But in this case, he lays his shit in. He expects his opponent to do the same. He's very intense. And you can set your watch to it that pretty much 9 times, if not 10 times out of 10, in an Ilya Dragunov match, he will be bleeding. He will be bleeding from somewhere. Usually his face somewhere. And this match was no different. So we got an early first 48 attempt from Hayes. Mello avoided a Constantine special before trying for the springboard clothesline, but that got dodged. Both men were on the apron. Dragunov battered him against the ring post, and he went into the ring, and then he suplexed him back from the apron all the way into the ring. Later on, Dragunov blocked a suplex attempt and then hit Hayes in the back of the head with multiple hard elbows. Hayes tried for an answer in response, but he got blasted by the Constantine special. The champion somehow kicked out. Hayes was trapped in the corner, and Dragunov was looking to go coast to coast. Hayes, though, tried to block it with the first 48. Dragunov, though, he was on top of that. And he caught Hayes, muscled him up, power bombed him. And then they went to their second commercial break here in this match. So after the break, Dragunov hit a deadlift superplex. He covered Hayes only for 2. Both men now ended up on the apron. Dragunov encouraged Hayes to hit him. Right? He wanted him to hit him. And then you just hear Hayes go, "What's wrong with you?" Which is a valid question. So they trade strikes. Hayes turned a suplex into a cutter on the apron, and then both men tumbled to the floor. Back inside, Dragunov cut Hayes off on the ropes, and he pulled him onto his shoulders before hitting a Death Valley driver right into the turnbuckles. Dragunov went up top when The Miz showed up, which I guess they sort of teased before this match that this might happen. So The Miz shows up at ringside. He shoves Dragunov off the ropes while the referee's attention, he was occupied with Carmelo Hayes, and neither of them were aware of what was going on here. And as he fell off the ropes, Dragunov got clotheslined over the top rope on his way down. Hayes then hit the first 48, and he scored the pin while The Miz applauded from the floor. I do have to say, that first 48 sell by Dragunov was a fucking work of art. Just an absolute, I got to applaud, just an absolute work of art. This dude bounced up so high, he basically powerbombed himself, is what he did. And I was so happy that that was the finish. And they didn't just have Melo then go up to do the nothing but net. Like that right there, you don't need to do anything else. That's it. That should be the finish. And it was. And it was really the perfect way to end the match. Cheap interference from The Miz notwithstanding. But another great match here from these two. You know, they bring out the best in each other. Some guys, they do that. You know, and you could just see them work every single night and they'll deliver each and every single time. These two have that kind of chemistry together. It was hard hitting, but every Ilya Dragunov match is hard hitting. That's why he fucking bleeds. But for the lame run-in by The Miz, I got to take a point off. I got to do it. Now Dragunov feels like he's kind of stuck now, where he's not going to be wrestling for, you know, the World Heavyweight Championship anytime soon. He could have been in that mix had he qualified for the 4-way tomorrow, but he got beat by Sami Zayn. So now we're heading into WrestleMania season. And I certainly don't see a spot for him, you know, up in that plate, which is fine. That hopefully that will come later on. But then it's like, all right, well then, where does he end up? Because I don't think they're just going to put the U.S. title back on him. But he's still kind of in that mix. But he can't just keep wrestling. You can't keep doing open challenges with him every few weeks, right? You got to move on to something else. Whatever it is that they move on to with him, I hope that they have something good for him to do going into WrestleMania season. With any luck, maybe he'll end up with a spot on the card. I think it's probably not looking too good unless it's some sort of multi-man match. They do some sort of multi-man ladder match that I could see him being involved in. My fear is that they'll do the Andre Battle Royal the night before and he'll end up in that. But to me, he's too good not to be in the mix somewhere on that undercard heading into that show. So that's my hope for him. We got a recap of the Cody Rhodes promo last week with him declaring for the Royal Rumble and calling out Jacob Fatu. Then Fatu later in the show calling out Cody, and then the big pull-apart brawl between the two of them. So then after a commercial break, we pitched it to a sit-down interview from earlier today with Michael Cole and Cody Rhodes that Cole says turned explosive. So let's find out. And here Cody is quite affable, as he usually is to start things off. Cole asks him for his feelings on losing the WWE Championship. And Cody would rather not talk about losing it. He did his best Tony Khan impression. He didn't want to answer the question here. He said what he would rather do is talk about winning the Royal Rumble for a third time and, you know, getting back to the WWE Championship in the future. And to his credit, Michael Cole cut him off and said, tomorrow night at Saturday night's main event, Cody wrestles the man who cost him the WWE title. Tell me your feelings on Jacob Fatu. And before Cody could answer, Jacob Fatu shows up. Not alone, because Nick Aldis is there, and there's a couple of security geeks as if they're going to do anything. And they're trying to, let's not get physical here. But Fatu shows up, and he's got white pants on. He's wearing a white jacket. He's got a red bandana around his head. And Cody said, no, it's fine. It's fine. Let him sit. So Michael Cole disappeared. His job was done. Hell of a sit-down interview here. Cole disappeared, and in his seat was Jacob Fatu. So now they're directly across from each other here. And Fatu laid it out for him. He said his concern was Drew McIntyre. When he came back, his concern was Drew McIntyre, because McIntyre is the one who kicked his teeth down his throat. He was locked in on Drew only. He doesn't give a damn how Cody feels about it, but he had to put his hands on Fatu, and it got him thinking. Cody said, oh, you were thinking. It looked like you were acting in 3 Stages of Hell. You were doing a little more than just thinking. He's going to tell Fatu, though, what nobody else in this room here has the balls to tell him. Him acting is what got him locked up in the first place. Him acting is what got him put in prison in the first place. And Fatu got a little animated. He goes, you want to go there? He goes, it ain't nothing new that nobody doesn't already know about him. 16, lockdown. 18, lockdown. 7 kids, no job, 1 mattress. A month before he got here, he didn't even know if he had a damn job here. Hell, he almost got fired before he even got hired. But nah, he's not complaining about none of that. Those choices made him a better man. They got him standing right here in front of Cody. So Cody said that that's the problem. I'm not the WWE champion, and that's your fault. Saturday night's main event, it should be for the WWE championship, you and me. And Fatu cut him off, and he said, a title match? He goes, hell nah. From where he sits, Drew was already out before he stepped in front of him in that cage match. Cody said, it's crazy that Fatu thinks he's got it all figured out because he's never been in a title match. And things got very tense at that point. They were already tense. They got even more tense. Fatu said, that's what you think this is? He thinks Fatu is like every other Samoan he's gone up against? They don't make him like him anymore. They ain't never made him like him. Everyone thinks that he's unhinged. Everyone thinks he's out of control. Nah, bruh. Trust me. I'm very in control. So think about that. And off he went. And when they came back to the announcers and Michael Cole at ringside, he pointed out that Nick Aldis made sure that Cody and Fatu both left the building after that so as not to get into any kind of trouble and not to jeopardize the match tomorrow night. So we didn't see them again. Actually, that's not true. We saw Cody later. So actually, that's actually not true because Cody was still there. Interesting. But anyway, Cody was kind of a dick here in this segment by going there and bringing up, Jacob's past and kind of throwing it into his face like that. But this was the best promo that Jacob Fatu has had the chance to cut since he came to WWE, where he's just face to face with somebody in what feels like this real life situation. He's not just out in the ring talking to the camera. He's not just, doing what he used to do when he was still, with Solo and his crew. He would cut these little promos sometimes, as they were coming out to the ring. This was the first, I feel like this was the first time he really even addressed his past, in any sort of meaningful way on the actual television show. But again, there's an authenticity to him that you can't fake it. You can't manufacture it. Kevin Owens is another one. I think I've said that before about Kevin Owens, and one of the things that makes him work so well as a promo guy is that when he's out there, and again, he could do comedy, he could be more serious, he could be a babyface, he could be a heel. Kevin Owens is Kevin Owens. And there's just, it's unmistakable. Like a Kevin Owens promo and just the way he speaks and the way he tries to bring logic to certain things, like there's just like an authenticity to him. And there's a handful of people like that. And I put Fatu in that category. And hopefully we get to hear him speak even more as he kind of levels up here on this show, because he's another one where in this new 3-hour era of SmackDown that we have, and as we approach WrestleMania and beyond, he needs to be in that top mix. There's no place for him, back in the U.S. title seat. Like, he's beyond that. It's not even about titles right now for him, but he should be in the mix with people that are competing for the WWE Championship. So it's good to see him with Cody and with Drew and people like that, because that's where he belongs. And that's where they have to hope they can elevate him enough where he takes as a main eventer. And he becomes, one of those top guys that can stick and eventually can be the champion, on the brand. And he is very popular. And if you've ever seen, Jacob Fatu in the ring, whether it's MLW, whether it's on the independent scene, even in WWE, but I still feel like in WWE, we still haven't seen, like, the real Jacob Fatu. He hasn't really had the chance yet, and maybe he will tomorrow with Cody, to truly show what he can do, one-on-one in like a meaningful match. So I'm glad that, he's finally in that position. But also he confirmed here that the reason, and we all kind of figured this, but he confirmed here that the reason that he went after Drew was because he believes that Drew McIntyre was the one who kicked his teeth down his throat and injured him a couple months ago. And that's why he went after Drew. Because I wasn't sure if they were going to just drop that whole thing. I was hoping that they would kind of circle back around to it. And so they did here. But Drew still denies it. In fact, Drew denied it again later in the show when he came out for his promo. He's like, look, I know I'm skipping ahead to the Drew promo, but Drew was like, I didn't kick your teeth down your throat. If I did it, I would be out here gloating about it. Drew McIntyre, the one thing Drew McIntyre doesn't do, Drew McIntyre doesn't lie. So now the question is, what does that mean as far as who attacked Jacob Fatu? Because Drew McIntyre was always the obvious choice, right? It would be too obvious to the point where it would be massively disappointing if it ended up being, oh, well, Drew McIntyre was the one who attacked him. I look ahead to tomorrow. It's Saturday night's main event. And when I did my predictions, I said, I have no winner for this match. I don't think we're getting a clean-cut winner. I think we're going to get some sort of no contest or somebody's going to get involved. I don't think they want to beat Cody Rhodes, especially back-to-back. He just lost 3 stages of hell. And I think beating Jacob Fatu would be the wrong move. Would be a killer, but I wouldn't be beating Jacob Fatu. Because this is going to be his first match back tomorrow. We haven't seen him wrestle in months. So the question is, like, how do they do the finish? And, does somebody get involved? If so, who would that person be? What's the crowd reaction going to be? That's the other question. Because I feel like it's going to be very mixed for Cody in Montreal. And it may be somewhat mixed for Jacob, but I'm guessing Jacob is going to get the lion's share of the cheers, even more than Cody. And Jacob right now is kind of in that tweener role. I can't really call him a heel, but I can't really call him a babyface. He's kind of in the middle. But if I had to venture a guess, I would say he's probably going to get a more positive reception tomorrow than Cody will. Now in the back, Chelsea Green was walking along with Alba Fire. And they find Jordynne Grace. And Chelsea tries to butter her up and offers her a spot in her Secret Service next week at the Royal Rumble. Maybe even tonight when Chelsea has to face Jade Cargill. And Jordynne says she'll be there. Then, oh, you're going to love this. We got a video package for Roman Reigns. Haven't seen Roman Reigns since War Games. So we got a video package, and the video package led to a graphic. And in the graphic, we found out that, breaking news, Roman Reigns has officially declared for the Royal Rumble. Could not even be bothered to record a video. Even just something he would have posted on social media that they could have run here on the show. Of him on his, freaking Stairmaster or something. Nothing. We get a graphic. We get a graphic telling us, take our word for it, Roman Reigns has declared for the Royal Rumble. Oh, man. I've lost track of how many Roman Reigns returns we have had. He has to be approaching Undertaker territory at this point, because over the years, Undertaker had many, many, many returns, right? He would disappear for months on end, and then he would return, and it would be like, oh, the Undertaker's back, right? They did that 20 times over the years. And we're getting close. Roman Reigns gets a return every few months. He's back. Oh, okay. Then he'll disappear again. Roman Reigns is back. Okay. We go through this multiple times a year. So now we know when he'll be making his return. And of course, he's automatically the favorite to win the Royal Rumble. We had Chelsea Green against the WWE Women's Champion, Jade Cargill. This was a non-title match, as all of Jade's matches are. In fact, she has been champion since November 1st and has had exactly 0 defenses of the WWE Women's Championship. The title has been on ice ever since she won that, which, funny enough, was on Saturday night's main event. Not the last one, but the one before that. So as Jade walked to the ring, she spotted Jordan Grace, because Jordan Grace had come down to the ring with Chelsea Green and Alba Fire. So she noticed Jordan was standing at ringside, and as she's looking at Jordan and jawing at her, Chelsea comes diving through the ropes, and she tackles Jade to the ground. I should point out that they were in Canada, so of course, Chelsea Green being Canadian, she had her fans who were very happy to see her. So then it was Jade's turn to go on offense. Got a couple of fall-away slams and kip-ups. On that last one, Chelsea rolled out of the ring. So Jade went to go get her and put her back inside. As she was getting back into the ring, though, she was preoccupied looking at Jordan Grace, who was standing right in front of the announcers. And sure enough, when she turned around, Chelsea caught her with a missile dropkick. Chelsea tried for the unpretty her. That got reversed. She went for a rope-assisted pin. Jade still kicked out. So Jade recovered. She dropped Chelsea with a powerbomb. And after she warded off Alba Fire from the apron, Jade told Grace, "Watch this." And she finished off Chelsea with the Jaded. Now, after the match, Jordan Grace got on the microphone. And she said that Jade's match had no point. Yeah, no shit. Other than showing her strength in a non-title match. So then Jordan Grace declared for the Royal Rumble and said she was going to win the Women's Royal Rumble. She'll be in there. And that she would see Jade on the other side unless, you just had your little warm-up match. We could do this right here, right now. And Jade backed down, of course. Backed down from that challenge. This was strictly a way just to put more heat on the Jade and Jordan stuff they've been teasing now for several weeks. I thought maybe they were going to add that as a match to Saturday night's main event tomorrow. I'm actually happier with the match they ended up adding. So they did add a match. It just wasn't this one. But I did want to mention one thing here. And I've gotten some comments and I think maybe even a couple of super chats from people asking me if I've watched WWE Unreal yet. And I have most of it. I'm not done with it yet. I'm in the middle of the final episode, so I don't know if I'm going to talk about it on Sunday. I might. If not, at some point I will. I'm not going to review each episode, but I'll give sort of my thoughts and an overview, and there's certain things that, I'll chime in on. One of the things that actually really annoyed me, I think it was episode 3. There were comments that Michael Hayes made about Chelsea Green that really bugged the shit out of me. And I kind of understood what he was saying, but the way he said it, it felt wrong to me. He was talking about how great Chelsea is in the role that she's in, and she can play whatever part you need her to play. And basically she's a great utility player. But the way he described Chelsea Green is that Chelsea is the person that they use to help make other people look good and to help elevate other people, because the position that they want those other people to get to is not the position that Chelsea Green is in or should be in. She's the woman who is there to help other people ascend to that spot. And I just thought to myself, what a shitty thing to say. So sure, right now, that is the position that she's in, is to help make other people look good, right? And Chelsea plays this very comedic character, so, you know, he's not wrong in that regard. Like, that is her role on the show right now. But the idea that Chelsea Green cannot, at any point, be that person who is challenging for the world championship, or at some point they can't push her in a more serious way where she's the one working with a Charlotte Flair, or she's the one working with a Bianca Belair. She absolutely could. And I think at some point she should get a run at it. She doesn't have to spend the rest of her career as the woman who makes other people. She doesn't have to be relegated to the Dolph Ziggler role for the rest of her career, because that's what people like Michael Hayes think. Yeah, her value sort of ends there. She's got a ceiling and she's hit that ceiling, and this is what this is what her role is going to be. Yeah, for now. But the idea that, they won't or they can't, use her in a role higher up on the card is fucking nonsense, because Chelsea's great. Chelsea's great at what she does. That roster is a lot better off having her on it, both not just in terms of what she brings on screen, but behind the scenes as well. And it was the same thing with her, I feel like, last season too, where you see her like on that Unreal show, and she's very likable, but you also see the value that she brings. Evidently, there may be certain people who don't see the full value that she brings, but just the way he said it just annoyed me, and I disagree with it wholeheartedly. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, they were talking backstage. Flair said that Bliss seemed a little distracted, and Bliss said that she thought they worked it out last week. She said that we can focus on other titles and the tag team. She brought up the Royal Rumble and said that it would be hard to top last year's Rumble, right? Which Charlotte won, and Alexa made her big return on that show. Charlotte pointed out, yeah, I know, because I won. But oh yeah, you made a big return too. So Flair said that they should worry about WrestleMania, or they would worry about WrestleMania next week. Tonight, though, it's all about their team, because they were in a number one contenders match. But before that, we had other tag team titles to worry about. And that is what came next. This was the worst thing on the entire show. It was Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy representing the Wyatt Sicks, defending their WWE Tag Team titles against Solo Sikoa and Tama Tonga, representing the MFTs. Reclusa is better than most of the roster. I tell you what, I was stunned watching Unreal, and they actually have Chelsea talking about the match that she had with Penta and then showing footage. They had the footage from Lucha Underground. I'm hearing Matt Stryker on commentary. They're showing Chelsea Green against Penta. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't expect to tune in to Unreal and find this. That was a pleasant surprise. But yes, we had the Wyatt Sicks against the MFTs. Solo Sikoa came to the ring holding the lantern that he stole from Uncle Howdy. And before the match, he sent Tama Tonga to the back with the lantern, I guess to protect the lantern. This match was very boring. This was a very boring match. Tonga Loa tried to get involved. Eric Rowan took him out. Him and JC Mateo, actually, with a running crossbody block on the floor outside. Tama Tonga returned from the back with the lantern, and Rowan went after him just as JC Mateo provided a distraction that allowed Tama Tonga to wipe out Rowan with a big boot, and then he threw him over the barricade. So Uncle Howdy is at ringside. He locks the mandible claw on Tama Tonga to next to no reaction, by the way. This got virtually no reaction. Solo Sikoa comes over. He gives Uncle Howdy a Samoan spike. Down goes Uncle Howdy. And with the referee's back turned, Solo Sikoa blasts Dexter Lumis in the head with the lantern. And that allowed Tama Tonga to hit his the cutthroat, to win the match and to win the tag team titles for the MFTs. Big surprise there. This sucked. And it's not working. This entire feud just drags the entire show down. You know, whatever they're doing when they're on screen together, I feel like it's actively driving people away. That's the feeling that I get, you know, when I watch it. Because, and it actually pisses me off because I look at this match, but really any of these segments, but this match in particular, which was stone cold. All right. And I'm not talking about Steve Austin. Watching this match, and it just makes me think, man, like a year ago, think about the state of the SmackDown tag team division a year ago. All the teams that were going after those tag team titles and some of the matches that we were seeing every week. And of course, it built to that TLC match on that SmackDown after WrestleMania. And we had another TLC match at SummerSlam as well. So for a good portion, I would say a good, 65, 70% of 2025, the SmackDown tag team division was cooking with oil. You know, they were just on fire. They were one of the true highlights of the show. And here we are now a year later. And it's like, where is everybody? Right? I know DIY is done. I know Pretty Deadly is done. But like, where'd everybody else go? Where are the Street Profits? Where are the Motor City Machine Gun? Where are the other teams? Like, how did we get to this point where the tag team division went from being the best thing on the show at one time to the worst thing on the show? How did that happen? Because the fall has been something else. Let me tell you, these tag team titles have never felt as just useless and cold and dead as they feel right now. The women's tag team titles feel more important than the WWE tag team titles. How the fuck did that happen? I don't know. But that's where we are now. But these two groups working together, it's poison. Absolute poison. You got to get them away from each other. This is not working. And this whole thing over a fucking lantern, this is not working. Backstage, R-Truth wanted Nick Aldis to take his balls. Remember the tumblers from a couple months ago with the John Cena stuff? He had the balls because he wanted to declare for the Royal Rumble. Yeah. So then AJ Styles showed up because Nick Aldis had invited AJ Styles, who is a member of the Monday Night Raw roster, to show up here on SmackDown for reasons that were unexplained. Why does he want him on this show? Now you figure it's tied into the announcement that AJ made on Monday, which is that he is going to put his career on the line at the Royal Rumble against Gunther. So Nick Aldis, who, funny enough, as Magnus, beat AJ in the last TNA match back in 2013 that AJ ever had. It was Nick Aldis who beat him. Of course, they made no mention of that here. Not that they would. But there's AJ Styles. And Aldis said that he saw Raw on Monday and he couldn't believe that AJ would do that. And he goes, "Are you sure? Are you sure you want to do that?" And I'm thinking to myself, this is what he had Styles fly all the way to Montreal for? There better be more to it than this. This is what he had this man fly all the way to Canada for? Does he not have his phone number? This could have been a phone call. This could have been a text message. AJ Styles went from Germany, right? He was in Dusseldorf, to Texas for the TNA show, the big AMC debut. And then from there, he went to Belfast and now to Montreal. So I'm like, there has to be more to it than this. I'd be pissed if I was AJ Styles. Styles said, "Yeah, I'm sure." Says that Gunther says he retired John Cena. Fine, that's business. It's the disrespect that he showed after the fact that pissed him off. So if he thinks that he's going to let Gunther dictate the end of his career, he's mistaken. He's already dictated the end of his career. What's he talking about? Gunther dictated the terms that AJ agreed to. This was Gunther's idea. He agreed to it. He's already agreed to the terms. But he is sure that is not the reason, he says, that Aldis invited him all the way here tonight. I would sure fucking hope not. Aldis said, look, I respect your position, and no, that's not the only reason I invited you here to Montreal. And he stepped aside, and into the camera view walked Shinsuke Nakamura, old rival of his. He asked AJ, you're smart, you're calculated, so tell me, why are you willing to lose everything? And AJ said that if he doesn't step up to Gunther now, he's already lost. So Nakamura told him, before AJ steps into the ring with Gunther, prove that you are still phenomenal. Tomorrow night, Saturday night's main event. Nakamura versus AJ Styles. AJ turns to Nick Aldis and he says, you still got room on the card? Aldis says, yep. And so it's official. We will get one more match before it's all said and done between AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. And look, it's not like they've really been doing a whole hell of a lot lately with Nakamura, other than not letting him go to the Tokyo Dome to honor the retirement of Hiroshi Tanahashi. The only thing he's been doing lately is really kind of cutting promos back and forth in the back with Tama Tonga. So I assume we'll get that match soon. That's about it. And Nakamura really hasn't done anything of any note at all in years. He really hasn't. I mean, I know the U.S. title stuff with LA Knight, but give me a break. The matches that he had with AJ Styles, they actually got progressively better. If you think back to 2018, they had that match at WrestleMania 34. It was disappointing, right? I wouldn't call it a bad match. It was disappointing. And the expectations were very high based on their previous match together outside the company. As I recall, they had, I think, two more, I want to say, maybe three, but two more pay-per-view matches, PLE matches. And I think the last one they had in that series was actually the best of the bunch. So I felt like it got progressively better. But they never really had the chance to go out there and have that real classic match. And I see what Styles was able to go out there and do with John Cena at Crown Jewel a few months ago. And I'm not expecting that. But I'm really hoping that, if they get a little bit of time, and these matches on Saturday night's main event, they don't get a lot of time. Like, I'm not expecting these two to get more than probably what AJ got in the tag match on the last show, where it was him and Dragon Lee against Leon Slater and Javon Evans. 10 or 12 minutes maybe he'll get. But for the time they get tomorrow, I hope that they can go out there and actually have a kick-ass match. Because this may well be it. This may be the last time we ever see these two in the ring together. Unless they're both in the Royal Rumble. And I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while since we've seen Styles and Nakamura, so I'm looking forward to it. We had Johnny Gargano against Nathan Frazier. Johnny Gargano had Candice LeRae in his corner. Nathan Frazier had Axiom in his corner. This went through a commercial break, so they got some time. Frazier began to build some momentum with a springboard axe handle and then a running sling blade. Off the top rope, Frazier came down on Gargano with a frog splash, only for two. As Gargano rolled out of the ring, Frazier launched himself over the top rope with a dive. And then he scurried up top, and he tried for a Phoenix Splash. Gargano, though, moved out of the way. And then he blocked a springboard moonsault with a kick as he hit a modified Fisherman's Driver to Frazier, only for a near fall. So Gargano headed up top. He gave Frazier enough time, though, to hit a superplex, followed by a swinging neckbreaker. And as Frazier headed up top, Candice LeRae gets up on the apron. And she provided enough of a distraction for him to miss the splash. Now, outside the ring, Axiom finds the mask, his mask, that they stole from him weeks ago. He's been trying to get this mask back. And he sees the mask, and he goes over and he grabs it. And then he places the stolen mask on Candice's head backwards so she can't see. Now she's got the mask on. And so this causes her to blindly attack Gargano rather than Frazier. So there was a roll-up, and that was the end of that. And Frazier picks up the win. After the match, Candice got the stolen mask back and ran off. This is almost as bad as the lantern stuff. Look, here's what happened here. I'm going to tell you right now what happened. It's pretty obvious what happened. What happened is they were angling for a DIY Fraxium feud. Tommaso Ciampa told them, I'm not renewing. I'm leaving when my contract is up, which is imminently. And so that put the kibosh on that. And then they were left to figure out, oh shit, what are we going to do here? because we have Nathan Frazier and Axiom, and now we only have Johnny Gargano. So they came up with this dumb story with the mask. We got a match look, the match itself was solid enough. It was a solid match. But that's what this was born out of, and they're trying to I don't even know if they're trying to figure out what the plan B is. I don't know if they're going to pair Gargano off with somebody else, stick him with Kit Wilson. I don't know what they're going to do. But clearly we were going to get DIY and Fraxium, and then Ciampa not renewing kind of threw things into a state of flux, and, it put Gargano in a tough spot now. Where at least he's being featured, but obviously, whatever plans they had, they got to blow up those plans and try to come up with something different. We had the WWE champion Drew McIntyre. He was out to the ring next to address the crowd. He started off by saying, bonjour, bonjour, to the Montreal crowd, and that pretty much exhausted all of his French for the night, and mine. He talked about how it's been a tough time for Montreal since it's been 30 years since the Canadiens have won the Stanley Cup. But now they had a champion that they could be proud of. McIntyre said he saw Cody Rhodes and Jacob Fatu's little therapy session, as he again insisted he did not kick Fatu's teeth down his throat. I didn't do it. If I did it, I would be out here gloating about it, and you would know about it. He goes, Drew McIntyre never lies to you. He said that if Cody survived Fatu tomorrow, he would still have to go to the back of the line because there's no rematch for the title, which we already knew, right? He's already said this before. So then he teed up all four men in the Fatal 4-Way tomorrow. Randy Orton got the biggest reaction out of anybody whose name he mentioned here. And he was about to mention Sami Zayn's name. And the crowd wouldn't even let him do it because the crowd started an RKO chant. So they start chanting RKO. Then he talked about Sami Zayn, who actually got a pop, but he got a lesser pop than even Randy Orton did here, at least initially. Drew said he knows that Sami can hear the fans sing for him. He was trying to prompt them to sing, and then they did the ole ole stuff, but he was trying to egg them on. Drew says that Sami's focus on disappointing his son will cost him. And his son has been disappointed in Sami his entire life. He doesn't care who faces him at the Royal Rumble. He'll do whatever it takes to keep the title. Well, that was certainly one way to eat up some time here on this 3-hour show. As I said at the beginning of the review, that's what this promo was. When it was over, I'm like, that's the only reason this promo even existed. Let's just get the champion on the show, but not really have him say much of anything. So, mission accomplished. They killed some time here in this. Very generic stuff here from McIntyre. But again, he goes out of his way to mention the fact. So, again, saying it didn't serve any purpose is not entirely accurate. I'm saying the substance of the promo, by and large, very generic. But what it did do was it yet again reinforced the idea that McIntyre did not do what Jacob Fatu thinks he did. Now, McIntyre's a heel, but he didn't do it. It's clear as day now. Like, there's going to be somebody else that's going to be revealed. They have to do a reveal, right? Why keep bringing this up if there's not going to be some kind of shocking reveal? There has to be a reveal, and it has to be one that's going to knock people back on their heels. So the question now becomes, who is it? Who attacked him? Was it Cody? Was it Randy Orton? Or does the real culprit, if it's not either one of them, interfere in the Cody and Fatu match tomorrow? Because I am convinced we're not getting a legitimate winner in that match. So there's any number of ways you can do that finish. One of the ways you could do that finish is if somebody runs in and gets involved and causes a no contest, and that person ends up being the person who attacked Jacob Fatu. Then coming out of this, if we assume Fatu's not wrestling for the title of WrestleMania, Fatu could go off coming out of the show tomorrow to feud with the actual person who attacked him. So the only question is, who would that be? And if we're not talking Cody Rhodes or Randy Orton, and I don't believe they're turning Cody Rhodes heel, then who would it be? Is it someone that we're not thinking of? Is it someone maybe that, you know, again, Obafemi is going to, it's not Obafemi, but Obafemi is reportedly going to Raw anyway. Could it be someone new, though? I don't know. But we're going to have to get someone that is going to be out of left field, because at this point, anything else would be disappointing. Now, in the back, Trick Williams was talking with Rey Fenix, who says that he remembers how Trick won their recent match. Trick says that he plans on becoming WWE champion, and then Phoenix get a title shot. Yeah, right. How many appearances has Rey Fenix made on television in the last 6 months? He's going to be getting a WWE championship match. I mean, look, I'm all for giving Phoenix something to do, but let's not get carried away here. We'll see where this goes. Ace Italiano says Randy Orton. Look, if it's going to be one of those two, it's not going to be Cody. It's going to be Randy Orton. I think there's still a better chance it's Orton that goes heel and not Cody. Owens is from Montreal. Look, things have gone radio silent on the KO front. But unless they were working us on the severity of the neck injury, he only had surgery in July. Neck surgery. Because remember, he didn't have the surgery right away. There was swelling that had to go down, and supposedly he didn't have the surgery until, the middle of the summer. That would be awfully quick for him to make a return. So I do not believe it is Kevin Owens. I'd get a huge reaction if it was, but and that's a match I'd love to see, but no, I don't believe it's Kevin Owens. What about Brock? That's interesting. I'm more intrigued at the idea that Brock Lesnar would fly in on a random SmackDown to beat up Jacob Fatu in the back and would be so concerned about not revealing his identity that nobody saw him. I know we're spitballing names here, but I mean, come on. I don't think Brock would give a shit if people knew that it was him who attacked Jacob Fatu. Hobbs. Okay, see, so now we're making some more sense here. That goes to what I said earlier about SmackDown needing heels, and I would put Hobbs on SmackDown. Why not make Hobbs the attacker? Why not make Royce Keys? That's going to be his new name, Royce Key. Royce, by the way, for those who don't know, is the name of his young son. I don't know where the Keys comes from, but I'd be down for that. If that's how they want to debut Hobbs, if that's the position they wanted to debut him in on SmackDown, and we get a Hobbs and Fatu feud out of it, sign me up. Elsewhere, Kit Wilson was being interviewed by Kathy Kelly about his attack on Matt Cardona last week. He said that someone had to clean up the toxic masculinity that was permeating the locker room, and Cardona was the head of it. So Cardona comes over to ask, what's your problem? And Wilson says he doesn't like his beard, he doesn't like his jawline, he doesn't like his beefy shoulders. He says Cardona doesn't have accountability. He's just got toxic masculinity. Cardona, like most people watching this show, doesn't care. He says that if Kit Wilson has a problem, they can settle it in the ring. So we never did get to hear the music this week, and I'm sure that's very disappointing to many of you. Yes, that is reportedly going to be his name, Royce Keys. No more Powerhouse Hobbs, no more Will Hobbs. See, I think Royce Hobbs could have worked, but apparently that's not what it's going to be. So then we had, now I should point out it was nearly 30 minutes since the last match. We finally had a three-way here. Number one contenders fighting over a shot for the women's tag team titles. Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax and Lash Legend, Giulia and Kiana James. This was rough in some spots. Like some of these women just were not gelling well together. Kiana tried to suplex Charlotte, couldn't lift her. So Lash Legend came in for the attempted double suplex. Charlotte, though, countered that into a double DDT instead. And just as Charlotte looked like she would have a tag to Bliss, Giulia pulled Alexa down from the apron and threw her into the barricade. In the ring, Nia was on the... Actually, Nia was the legal woman here for her team. As she lifted Flair up on her shoulders, Kiana got below Nia, turned the attempted avalanche Samoan drop into a double powerbomb instead. So Kiana started getting into Flair's face. She got sent into the corner, though, by Bliss, which allowed Giulia to blind tag. Bliss entered with the hot tag. Samoan drop by Nia got turned into a DDT by Bliss. Off the top, Giulia hit Nia with the missile dropkick as Bliss caught her in position for the Sister Abigail DDT, but before she could do anything, Legend broke it up with a pump kick to Alexa. Legend sent Giulia out of the ring as she caught Bliss, and she hit her Lash extension finish. Legend, though, was speared before she could attempt a pin. She got speared by Charlotte. But then Kiana snuck into the ring and pinned Bliss to secure the #1 contendership, and so that was a surprise. I didn't see that one coming. Giulia and Kiana James are going to be challenging soon. They didn't say when, but soon. For the women's tag team titles, the only question is, will they be challenging Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, or will they be challenging Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez? They will be challenging Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. That is who they will be challenging. Look, it was a surprising outcome that I didn't see coming. But if it gets us Giulia and Kiana against Rhea and Io, with Io and Giulia in the ring together, then I'm okay with that. Io Sky is one of the most popular performers in the entire company. People love her. She always gets a reaction, which is the exact opposite of every single match that Giulia is in on SmackDown. It is just ice cold when she is out there in terms of reactions. Nobody cares, even though she's the United States champion. The people are not buying what she's selling, and it's sad. And if it takes her getting into the ring and working with people like Rhea and Io, who are over, to, put her in there with people that I think she would work well with, and she could kind of, show what she can really do and maybe actually get a reaction doing it, then fucking do it. Because every time they go out there, I mean, it's very noticeable, or in this case, she'll tag in and do some moves and nobody cares. So let's move along here to Rhea and Io against Giulia and Kiana. I'd like to see that. I do have to say this, though. I have to point this out. I saw enough of NXT this week, not the whole show, but I did see that there was a main event, a three-way match. Funny enough, we had another women's three-way match to decide #1 contenders. Only the one on Tuesday was to decide the #1 contenders for the TNA Knockouts tag team titles. And in that match, Sol Ruca and Zarya picked up the win. And Fatal Influence was in there, but Sol Ruca and Zarya picked up the win. And that match was really good. And it was jarring. Like watching this match here, just how dull and sloppy in parts, but like just dull and lifeless and kind of slow in parts that this match was compared to the match from NXT. This is the main roster. This is supposed to be the elite of WWE. I don't know how to explain the difference between the two. I don't know what to attribute that to, but it was very noticeable. In the back, Sami Zayn was walking. He found Damian Priest. Sami said that he had no problem with Priest, but Trick Williams was the one that he had a problem with, and he volunteered to watch Priest back tonight in the main event, and his offer was rejected. Priest said that you have a bad habit of getting involved in other people's business. He told him in no uncertain terms, do not get involved in my match. This is my fight. Stay out of it. Sami says, or what? So Sami says that Priest doesn't get to tell him what to do this week or any other week. But then he spotted somebody off camera. And he said he had something else to go do. So he walks over, and it's Drew McIntyre. And he just walks up to Drew McIntyre, and he slaps the piss out of him. And then he walks away. See, that's what happens when you talk about someone's kids. You know, Drew talked in his promo about how much Sammy has disappointed his son. So you get slapped. That's how it works. Kendall Gray's stock continues to soar. Yeah, she was in that match too. I think it was it was her and Ren Sinclair, I believe. Kendall is going to be a big star on the main roster one day. She's a lot of fun to watch. She's like a dynamo in the ring. So that probably had a little something to do with it. But, you know, Sol Ruca is also fun to watch. And I'm surprised coming out of Saturday night's main event last month that she's not already, you know, getting vignettes on TV, teasing a call-up like they are doing for Oba. Like, Oba's coming up. Javon's already up. So the only reason Leon Slater's not up is because he's not under contract to them. But there's been no talk about Sol Ruca, you know, who got a win over Bayley in that match. So I don't know. But Kendall Gray is going to be a big deal one day. Again, it's just very jarring watching that match and just how much better it was and just more fun. And again, I watched matches like this and everyone's moving like they're in fucking quicksand, like they're moving in slow motion. And they're just like, what is going on here? Am I watching the main roster or is this the developmental show? That's how I feel sometimes watching some of these matches. Doesn't make sense. Backstage, in the parking garage, actually, Cody Rhodes caught up with AJ Styles. Styles told Cody, "Are you going to tell me that I should be questioning my match with Gunther? You're going to question that decision too?" And Cody said no. He said AJ is at his best when everything is on the line, and he wished him good luck against Gunther. So Cody then spotted something that annoyed him greatly as he walked towards his bus. Somebody, I wonder who, put a photograph of Drew McIntyre in the window of the door to his bus. It was like an 8x10 of Drew McIntyre with the WWE Championship, autographed by Drew McIntyre. It said, "The Real American Dream." And Cody got on the bus, he closed the door, and that was the last we saw of Cody Rhodes. Kathy Kelly, hey Lawson, what's going up? Lawson just subscribed to the channel. In the week where we hit 90K. It's awesome. Yeah, Cody should lock his bus. How come his bus is not locked? Especially after Drew's already broken into his bus. But he probably didn't have to break in. He probably just walked on because Cody doesn't lock his door. It's his own fault. He's got nobody to blame but himself. So Kathy Kelly interviewed Giulia and Kiana James on earning a tag team title shot. She asked Giulia about the possibility of becoming a double champion, and Giulia spoke in Japanese. Kiana then explained that they will become tag team champions, while Giulia will win the Royal Rumble and become a triple champion. Yeah, and I used to run across the living room as a kid with my sword, pretending that I was He-Man. So they closed the show, thank God, with Damian Priest against Trick Williams, which is another good sign for Trick, getting the main event spot here on the show. Williams connected with a leaping neckbreaker early on in this match, where he's standing behind Damian, just jumps up, grabs the neck, hence a leaping neckbreaker. It looked fine, it looked good, but it wasn't like some spectacular move. But my God, the announcers reacted to this like he did a triple jump moonsault. It was a leaping neck breaker. It wasn't that big of a deal. Meanwhile, Sami Zayn emerged from the back, and he stared down Trick Williams, doing exactly the opposite of what Damian Priest asked him to do. What could go wrong? Priest tried to go old school. Williams, though, tripped him up on the ropes and then sent him out to the floor. Trick then threw Priest into the steel steps and the barricade back and forth. And we took our final commercial break here of this match. Later on, Priest looked like he had South of Heaven all set up, but Williams escaped. And then they each connected with simultaneous pump kicks. Outside the ring, Williams dropped Priest with a, again, it kind of looked like it was in slow motion, but he dropped him with a flapjack on top of the announce desk. And then he threw Priest into Sami Zayn, and they both went down. As the action returned to the ring, Sami also got into the ring, and he attacked Trick Williams, and the referee threw the match away and called for the disqualification. And this was the fourth time out of 6 matches on this show that we had outside interference of some kind play a role in the finish of this match. So Zayn attacked Williams. He left him stunned in the corner. Priest then stepped up to Sami, very upset that he cost him the match. Sami, though, attacked him. Priest knocked Zayn down with a kick as Williams took out Priest with the trick shot knee. And it looked like Trick was going to stand tall at the end of the show. He's standing there. They got that tight camera shot from the hard cam, and I'm like, where is he? Because you know he's slithering into the ring at any moment, right? We already have Sami Zayn's out there. Trick Williams is out there. Damian Priest is out there. Who's missing? Sure enough, Randy Orton appears behind Trick Williams. He doesn't know yet. But then Trick turns around and he eats an RKO. And everybody cheers. Orton poses. Sami recovers. And the two of them start exchanging words. And then Orton drops Sami with an RKO. And that is how the show, and what a geek, by the way, Sami Zayn looked like here at the end of the, I mean, he got to slap Drew McIntyre in the face at least, but he was specifically told by Damian Priest, this is my fight. It's not yours. It has nothing to do with you. So I don't want you to have my back. I want you to stay in the back. So what did Sami do? He ignored him and came out anyway like a dick, which ended up costing Damian Priest his match when he ran into the ring to attack Trick Williams. So he cost Damian Priest the match like an asshole. And then when Priest came over to confront him about it, Sami attacked him. And then Sami ends up eating an RKO and getting laid out at the end of the show. So this was not a good night for Sami Zayn. Tomorrow night will be a much better night for him when he becomes #1 contender, because it will be Sami Zayn and Drew McIntyre at the Royal Rumble for the WWE Championship. But then mercifully, they ran the closing credits here to finally end this show. Just brutal. Just brutal. Especially that last hour, like just sitting through that last hour. Oh my God. I felt every bit of those 3 hours this week. And again, I would not have said that last week or the week before. I think I've been a lot more complimentary of this show. But not this week. Not that everything on the show was bad or anything like that, but just you sit here and you watch this show and you hope that they format it in such a way they keep the action going. There's some exciting stuff, and it kind of makes you forget about like what time it is and how much time you got left. I was just counting down the minutes here. Remember that old soundbite I used to have at the beginning of the sound off in the intro was John Moxley? I think it was from his audiobook. And he's talking about Raw. It's like, oh my God. What he say in the clip? Like, oh my God, we're only an hour and we have 2 more hours of this. That was me. I was Moxley, minus the blood, watching SmackDown tonight. It's fucking brutal. They did the bare minimum, though, of what they had to do to hype up that 4-way tomorrow night. The Cody and Fatu segment, though, for me, stole the show. To me, that was the highlight of the show tonight. The in-ring was not great outside of the U.S. title match. The U.S. title match was very good. And there's no surprise there. But in terms of the in-ring, nothing else stood out. Just absolutely not a single thing. That tag team title match was just a waste. And again, this was as quiet and tame a Canadian crowd as I can remember for a WWE or any wrestling show, really, that I've seen on TV. I can't say they had a whole lot to get excited about, so I don't blame them. But look, they get Saturday night's main event tomorrow. They get another show. They get another bite at the apple. And there are some good matches on there to look forward to. So let's hope that we get a livelier bunch tomorrow. I wonder if Jesse Ventura is flying into the show tomorrow. I wonder if he's coming across the border. Is he going to leave the Baja and make his way to Montreal? I don't know. Is he going to make his way there? We'll find out. What did you think of SmackDown, though, from Montreal? 39% thumbs up. 29.5% thumbs in the middle. And 31% thumbs down. Not a great score. Not even 40% thumbs up for this show tonight. Jesse is banished. He's banished from the Baja? Is that what you're saying? Oh, man. It's going to be like that some weeks, isn't it, with this SmackDown show? 3 fucking hours. Oh, my God. It's painful. Oh, let's get into your super chats here. Oh, banished from WWE. Dude, he was at the last show. He was literally on the last... Well, I guess he wasn't actually on the show itself, but he was there for the John Cena show. So what are you talking about? He's banished. Contractually obligated to be there. We are 381 likes, by the way. We are about 20 off of the goal. But I also noticed for the bonus Be the Booker, we're 8 out of 10. I don't know how much time, though, is left on that goal. So 2 more and we'll get bonus Be the Booker. Joseph Stewart, happy Friday to you as well, sir. Appreciate the support as always. Joseph is the king tonight. More than anyone else, Joseph has dropped a lot of love here on this stream. He says, what are your thoughts on the Masters of the Universe trailer? I did see it. I saw it twice, actually. And I'm optimistic. You know, again, there was the part where, you know, Prince Adam is on Earth, and how long are they going to be on Earth for relative to Eternia? So I'm a little worried about that, but I'm looking forward to it though. By and large, I like the trailer, and I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it when it comes out. I thought Skeletor. I mean, it's all CGI, probably. I don't know. How much of the Skeletor look there do you think was CGI as compared to prosthetics, or is it all CGI? I don't know. I couldn't tell, but I thought we didn't hear from Skeletor. We didn't hear his voice at all, but I thought he looked good. Says, in honor of the Masters of the Universe movie, will you have the honor to say, by the power of Grayskull, I have the power? That's what I used to yell in my living room as I went running through the room. We had like a recliner, like a leather recliner. I tore the shit out of that thing. I mean, I was like Braun Breaker, just running across the room into it with my He-Man sword. Oh, man. It says, I really hope Orko is in the Masters of the Universe movie. I do, too. I hope he makes it in there, too. It's all CGI. Yeah, it's probably all CGI. Everything is fucking CGI now. It's a shame. Says, the Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe movie and the original He-Man TV show from '83 are both available to watch on Amazon Prime. So there you go. Anybody who wants to check them out, Amazon Prime. Buy or sell, He-Man or Batman? As a kid, He-Man. As an adult, Batman. Buy or sell, Teela or Catwoman? Catwoman. Always Catwoman. Oh my god, he's got a bunch of them here. Look at this. Lightning round. Buy or sell, Skeletor or Joker? Joker. Evelyn or Harley Quinn? Harley Quinn. Man at Arms or Robin? Man at Arms. Battle Cat or Batmobile? Battle Cat. What is your favorite Orko moment? I don't think he had any moments that are that memorable. I don't have one. Were you a fan of Beastman? Yeah, I like Beastman. I'm like Kevin Nash. I never had a problem with Beastman. What is your favorite He-Man Masters of the Universe episode? Joseph wants to know. You know, there was an episode, I vaguely remember it, where Skeletor, he made a bunch of, it wasn't He-Man, but like a bunch of his people, the good guys. He made a bunch of them disappear. I don't remember how he did it, but he made a bunch of them disappear, and then it was up to like He-Man to like find them. I don't remember the name of the episode, but that one sticks out to me. Do you remember the cartoon show Digimon? Heard of it? Never watched it. Don't know what it is. Is that like a Pokemon thing? Do you remember the TV show VR Troopers? Nope. Never heard of it. Do you remember the Fox Kids show Masked Rider? Nope. I remember Ghost Rider on PBS. Do you remember the Fox Kids show Big Bad Beetleborgs? What the fuck? No. No, I don't know what that is. I don't really care to know what that is. Do you remember the Fox Kids in the 90s that showed cartoon shows like Power Rangers, Batman the Animated Series, Animaniac? Yeah, oh yeah. I remember that. I really hope we will see Liv and Dom as AAA Mixed Tag Team Champions in AAA this year. I could see that. But only after Dom loses the Mega title. Would you like to see a mixed tag team match of Liv and Dom against Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss? No, I would not. Do you think Roman Reigns will be in the main event of WrestleMania this year? We'll see. I'll do my Royal Rumble predictions on Sunday. Buy or sell Masters of the Universe or Power Rangers? Masters of the Universe. He clearly, like me, as a younger fan of it, is a big Masters of the Universe fan. He's also a big Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan fan. I could tell from your avatar. You're a big Dominic Mysterio fan. Says I'm a big Star Wars fan as well. Well, I won't hold that against you. Also a big James Bond and Indiana Jones fan. It's going to snow where I live this week. I think it's going to snow where everyone lives this weekend. Unless you're in California. See, this is where living on the West Coast has its advantages. If you're in California, you won't have to worry about snow. Anyway, Joseph, thank you for the love and the questions and the support. We got Devin from NJ2000. My dad thinks Javon Evans will have the ceiling of a pre-New Day Kofi in WWE. Does Solo agree? No. No, he does not. Rock cooking Hogan via satellite is an all-timer, says GMB. I agree. I especially like it. I know he dozed off during the promo. I believe he was eating pork rinds or potato chips during the promo as Hogan was trying to cut his promo. Remember that he pointed at Hogan? He goes, all right, Hogan, I'm going to point at you. When I point at you, then you start speaking. That was great. Dried ribs and chicken. I would love to move Ilya Dragunov, Carmelo Hayes, Solo Sikoa, Motor City Machine Guns, and Giulia to Monday nights. Raw on Netflix, so basically turn Raw into SmackDown is what you're saying. You want to move the Motor City Machine Guns over to Raw? You want to just completely kill the tag team division on SmackDown? Broly. What's going on, Broly? Says, regardless if you care about Meltzer ratings, Kendall Gray has had 4 4-star plus matches in the past 3 months than the whole SmackDown women's roster combined in 2025. You know, with Kendall Gray, I've already seen enough. Call her up and let her beat Jade Cargill and win the championship. At least we know she'll defend it. JDFVA, thank you. Broly says, compared this three-way women's tag to the one from NXT last Tuesday. It's worrying how bad the main roster of women are produced. Zero creativity. I mean, you know, the way they're produced is but one part of it. It's definitely a part of it, but it's only part of it. You can't just put it all on the producers. Prince Vegeta says, we need a Punk and Drew interaction before any of them lose their belts. Well, they'll be under the same roof on Saturday in Riyadh next weekend. Paul Van Summering, good God, the commercial breaks, and I use the VPN. Yeah, I know. See, I use a VPN, and I don't get the commercials. I get the, you know, for a lot of the matches, it'll go dark, and then it'll come back, and I'll see the match that people who are watching with the commercials don't see. But then at other times, and you guys know, if you watch it internationally or with a VPN, you know what I'm talking about. I get that screen with that music. Do, 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 do. I'd rather listen to that for 5 minutes than watch some of those commercials. Alexander says, I know Kiana and Giulia aren't winning the tag belts, but if it leads to a feud with Rio, I'm all for it. Giulia versus Rhea or Io would slap so hard. I'm all for Giulia and Io. Give it to me. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Chicago for MBK says, off topic, if you watch the latest Unreal, what are your thoughts on female talent being very touchy with Triple H, like Io jumping on him? I don't give a shit. I saw some people making a big deal about it. I think they have a lot of free time on their hands. That's what I think. Bobbert reviews, hey Solomonster, I was going to ask you a question, but Joseph took them all. Well, you got to be quicker. Bobbert, you gotta be quicker. Joseph gets them all in basically before I even go live. He's ready, man. He's on the ball. Shameful, though. He was the only one pre-stream. The only one. So I'm grateful for Joseph, but also for Bobbert. $15. Thank you, Bobbert. Emperor Comet, angry video game nerd's voice. This show was ass. This show was fucking boring, is what it was. Venom Kitetsu. Shinsuke and AJ segment felt so forced, even for wrestling. I say this as a Nakamura fan. He should be booked better. And fingers crossed for Be the Booker. Well, I mean, it felt forced because, you know, now I don't know if AJ's going the full year. I think on the podcast he did with the Undertaker, he said he was signed through the remainder of the year. I didn't see the podcast. I had read that was something he said, but you know, he could say whatever he wants. I mean, you know, doesn't mean he is. They may want you to think he is, and then when he loses, it's like, holy shit, I thought we had him for the rest of the year, right? It could be one of those things. But you know, if his window is limited, then they have a limited amount of time to get these matches in. Bobbert says, also, congrats on 90,000 subscribers. Hope you get to 100K so you can get that YouTube plaque. The silver play button. You know what they would do to me, though? Like, by the time I get there, it'll be, like, discontinued. We don't do that anymore. Now you got to get 150,000 to get the silver play button. Thank you, brother. Alexander says, Roman Reigns declared for the Rumble and couldn't bother to show up on the show. The jokes just continue to write themselves. You didn't honestly think Roman Reigns was going to show up on a random SmackDown now, did you? On the eve of a Saturday night's main event show that he's not even on. That's why I said just like a video. Send in a fucking video. You could be sitting on the crapper taking a shit. You could record a video with your phone. Nope. Got to do a graphic. Hey, Falcon Star. Thank you, brother. Hope you're having a good night. The new one. For the $9.99. Hey, Solomonster. Do you remember when Rock rapped on SmackDown with Wyclef Jean back in 2000? I do, actually. Well, I mean, the song that was on the Volume 5 CD, the Pie song, wasn't that him and Wyclef Jean? Said it was cool to see as a Rock fan back then. It's funny as hell now seeing him in Rock mode rapping. Yeah, that was just a weird time. Yeah. Steve says, yeah, YouTube says, congrats on 100K. Here's a toaster. Yeah, right. They'll probably they'll send me what they sent me a few months ago. They gave me a $5 Dunkin' Donuts gift card. Oh, gee, thanks. That's just what I need. I don't drink coffee. I'll just stuff my face with donuts. They're trying to fatten me up. They did send me a Chipotle gift card though once. I did use that. I got lunch. I got lunch with that Chipotle gift card. Thanks, YouTube. I appreciate it. The Shaunathon says, this week, build to the Rumble in Saudi doesn't give me a lot of confidence in the build to WrestleMania next year in Saudi. You know what? I guess they got their money. They got their guaranteed money. There isn't a single person from the States that's flying over there to go to the Royal Rumble this year. And they don't give a shit. This is the worst build up to a Royal Rumble in decades. Fucking terrible. OM2 Cool. Brother Solo, do you think Giulia could be rehabilitated by giving her an Iron Woman performance and some eliminations at the Royal Rumble, or is it too late? It's never too late for her to be rehabilitated, but that's not the way to do it. That's like the Diesel spot. And I think that's going to go to Obafemi. Maybe it could go to Braun Breaker this year. I think it's going to go to Obafemi. I wouldn't, you don't give that to Giulia. It's just, that's not going to work. It's not going to work, and I don't think for her it's going to make a difference anyway. Holiday 197, hey Solo. I missed tonight's SmackDown episode. After reading the results, it seems I did not miss much. You didn't miss anything. You didn't miss a thing. Arabian Night, Gargano counting the days that he can join Ciampa in AEW with their fellow black and gold stars, as well as a better tag division. Odd that we never got DIY against the Usos and New Day. Yeah, I don't think AEW is a good place for Ciampa. I think TNA is a much better place. I think TNA would be the better option for him. And supposedly he has interest in getting into New Japan. So I would actually... I would say TNA over AEW for Ciampa. In AEW, he's just going to be another face. Just another face in the crowd. TNA could use somebody like him. TNA needs some more people on that roster. And they have this new show on AMC. Big fish in a smaller, or bigger fish in a smaller pond. He could be wrestling for the fucking world title. He could be having matches with Mike Santana in TNA. Alexander says there's small parallels to Jacob Fatu and New Jack. I mean, yeah, small parallels. I guess I could see that. One thing you can't say about New Jack is that he wasn't authentic. He was about as authentic, for better or worse, he was about as authentic as it gets. And I was not a New Jack fan. Arabian Night says, we need the youth standing tall at WrestleMania 42. Enough with the 40-plus-year-olds. Hey, now. Easy there. Do the WrestleMania 21 ending where Cena and Batista were anointed. Do it with Breaker and Fatu. You'll get Roman Reigns and Rhea Ripley, and you'll enjoy it. Sarah, the Songbird. Oh, they were in Montreal tonight, so it's only appropriate that we have a Canadian writing in here to the show. I'm Canadian. I'm a wrestling fan. Montreal is usually a stacked crowd, but my Quebec... My Quebec... how do you pronounce that? Quebecois? We'll say Quebec. Quebec brothers and sisters need more to sink their French teeth into. Stay warm in this impending storm. So you really stumped me on that word. Like, I'm looking at it, I go, fuck, how do I pronounce that? But thank you, Sarah. Yeah, the snow's coming in on Sunday. I'll be recording the sound off. So at least I'll be keeping busy. But it's going to start moving in on Sunday morning. And I don't know, the last update I saw, it's not going to stop until maybe midday on Monday. I just love the range they've given for it. It could be anywhere from 5 inches to like 16 inches. It's a pretty big range. Until it hits, we don't know how bad it's going to be, but it looks like it's going to be bad. You know, Steve in the chat, you're Canadian. Why don't you help me out here? How do you pronounce that word? Quebecois? I need to know the answer to this. Lost Dill. Congrats on 90K. Proud to be a member and supporter. Keep kicking ass, brother. Thank you. Thank you, Lost Dill. Toya ain't nice. Hi, Solo. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing okay. Duff's Vids. What's the difference between Disney Plus and Pornhub? Disney Plus wants you to hate your stepmom. You've seen that one too, huh? Prince Vegeta 95. Even in this new WWE run, Matt Cardona still won't have the makings of a varsity athlete. Not as long as he's hanging out with Kit Wilson. What are the chances they end up as a tag team? Alexander says Jacob's teeth mystery is WWE's MJF Devil storyline. Well, I would hope it has a better ending. Eminem says we're expecting snow here in Alabama tomorrow evening. I'm telling you, man, this thing, like I saw a map, and it's like the purple shade is where like the storms are coming, and it's like this just giant blob of purple on the map that's like covering 65% of the country. Nick Grasso 999. What are your thoughts on Tommaso Tommaso Ciampa possibly going to New Japan? Do you think his body can work the strong style? I don't. It's not like he's going to be there full time. I think he could do some New Japan matches, and he can go back and forth. He could do New Japan. He could do TNA. He could work independence. Definitely independence. So yeah, not anything full time, but there's a bunch of people that are leaving New Japan. You know, Evil is supposedly on his way to WWE. Sonata is on an indefinite leave. There's rumors of Hiromu Takahashi possibly leaving New Japan. We don't know yet what's going on with David Finlay and Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd, so I'm sure they'd love to have someone like Ciampa. Devin says, when did WWE stop caring as much about the build for major shows? Was it with the network era, or does it go back earlier? It's the guaranteed money era. You know, when they get their guaranteed money, especially for a show like any of these Saudi shows. And it's like, the incentive isn't there. It's sad, but that's just the way it is, so. Duff's Vid says, what does an escalator say when it stops working? Nothing. It just stares. What kind of key opens a banana? A mun key. What do you call a twitching cow? Beef jerky. Dustin says, Solo, do you enjoy going to a live WWE show? I mean, I generally have in the past when I've gone. I have not been to a live WWE show in quite some time. I mean, the last one would have been the Royal Rumble in 2 years ago. I was at the Rumble actually in Tampa 2 years ago. Prior to that one, pretty sure before that, I had not been to one since WrestleMania 35. So yeah, I don't go to too many of them now. Mostly because I have to be here, you know, to do the live streams when the show is over. But there's just no, especially at the prices they're charging people, they're gouging people, you know, and I'm not doing that. What do you call a coffin that's underground during an earthquake? A maraca. I bought one of those for my cat when I had a cat, and I would hear that fucking thing in the middle of the night. Yep, she's got the maraca. Jamie Dorsch, what is the best and worst Rock versus Undertaker match? I can't think of what the best one would be. I don't think there ever was a best one. Unless you count the triple threat that Kurt Angle was a part of, that would be the best one. That was from Vengeance in 2002. So if that counts, then 100% that's the best one. The worst one? I don't know, but I could tell you the worst Undertaker Triple H match. They've had some fucking bad matches. Their King of the Ring match in 2002 is probably the worst match I've ever seen them have. But then they also had a match in Australia. Was it Super Showdown or something a number of years ago? That went like 27 minutes. Oh my God. That was about 22 minutes too long. Yeah, that King of the Ring 2002 match was fucking terrible. Matt Scales. Hey, Solo, congrats on 90K. All I ask WWE, please keep Chris Jericho away from Jacob Fatu. Oh, man. What if Jericho was the one who attacked Fatu? We didn't mention that possibility. Brandon Proctor contributing to bonus Be the Booker. And guess what? We did hit that goal. We got a double dose of Be the Booker coming up here in a moment. That's awesome. Duff's Vids, can one bird make a joke? No, but two can. Oh, Duffs. What am I going to do with you? Prince Vegeta, rank these four from likely to least likely to win another world title in their career. Kevin Owens, Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Jey Uso. Okay, I'm putting Jey Uso at the bottom. No more world titles for Jey Uso, so he goes at the bottom. I'm going to say, honestly, I have hope that Kevin Owens will be able to make a return and that Kevin Owens will get one run with the WWE Championship. I'm going to put Kevin Owens first, and then Damian Priest, and then Balor, and then Jey Uso at the bottom. Venom Katetsu. Chipotle has the best taco shells. Yeah, I get like a, I don't know, chicken bowl or whatever it is. I don't eat there very often, but you know, I have one not too far from where I am, so it's like, okay, get free Chipotle. Broly says, hope they never split up Fatal Influence. Are you that attached to them as a unit that you just cannot bear the thought of them being apart? And Eminem says, I heard a cabinet installer was arrested earlier today. He was charged with counterfeiting. Yeah, you deserve that one. You know you earned that one. Hey, Tuxedo, just stopping in to say hey before the extreme cold that is effing up my internet connection takes me offline. Oh, well, I hope it doesn't F up my internet connection because I got a bunch of shows to do. I got a show to do on Sunday. Let's hope that doesn't happen. All right. It is time because you guys, again, 400, there you see on the wheel. That was the goal. So you guys hit the goal. You guys also activated the bonus, which means we get to end the week. Well, technically not, because we're going to be live again tomorrow night, but it is technically the end of the week. We get to end the week the right way. Let's be the booker.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to be the booker.
We are coming back tomorrow night, though, after Saturday night's main event. All right, here we go. Tag team, we got a lot more tag teams in here than WWE has. Not all of them good. But this one's pretty good. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H. The two-man power trip. Look at that, draped in gold. I don't have a good feeling about the team they're going to be wrestling. I don't have a good feeling about their chances. Oh my. Triple H and Stone Cold Steve Austin against the Rock and Roll Express. Ricky and Robert. Oh, Austin's got to be geeking out. I'm sure he would love to work with Ricky Morton. Hell yeah, that's a tag match. We could main event the show with that. That could actually be the main event of the show. I don't think we're actually going to top that match in terms of star power here. If you want some tag team wrestling, there's some tag team wrestling. We got Meiko Satomura. This retired last year after a 30-year career. And it's going to be Meiko against Sky Blue. I better give that the bell, or else all the Sky Blue fans, they will come at me with their pitchforks. I know we have a lot of Sky Blue fans. All right, we need a main event here for night one of a two-night extravaganza. Here we go. It is the American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes is in the main event, as I'm sure he will be at WrestleMania this year. Cody Rhodes is the face of the franchise. But Roman Reigns has interfered here. The tribal chief says, pick a damn stipulation. So we don't yet know who Cody is wrestling, but we're going to pick a stip first. Then we'll pick the opponent. Uh-oh. He ain't going to be the face of the franchise after this. You can't, look, you got to fuck up the pretty face and everything. I mean, you're going to put Cody Rhodes in a Brawl for All match. That's the worst match you could put Cody Rhodes in. He's the face of the company. You're going to fuck up his face. Cody Rhodes. Well, this all comes down now to like who his opponent is. This could be very bad. Masked Cody. He may need that mask again when this is over, depending on who his opponent is. Devil's Choice. Oh, it's getting interesting now. It's getting interesting now. Devil's Choice. Keep or replace the man that you just picked. So do we take Cody out of the Brawl for All? So this is the question. We can spare Cody's face if we take him out of the match, but we may not have as big of a name, though. I don't know. I don't know what we should do. Keep him or replace him? Solo wants a blood sport. All right, you know what? We're going to keep him. Fuck it. We're going to keep him in there. Take your lumps. Be a man. Nut up. Cody Rhodes in a Brawl for All against Brian Pillman. There's a match. Pre-broken ankle, Brian Pillman against Cody Rhodes. I don't know about the Brawl for All stipulation. But as a match, I'm okay with it. Cody is dead, says Dustin. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, if I had to make a choice here, absolutely Brian Pillman. I'm definitely going Brian Pillman in this match. For sure. But that gave us a clean sweep. Always good to hear that sonic chime. That's how you know you had a good night. All right, so now we go all stipulations for round number 2. Didn't Cody have a high school wrestling background? Yes, but this is not a wrestling match. This is a Brawl for All match. There's going to be no takedowns in this match. Actually, were takedowns allowed? I think they were actually allowed. That's a good point. I thought for some reason, I thought takedowns were not allowed. I think you got points for a takedown. That might work to Cody's advantage, though. Ah, we got my favorite. We got my favorite, the big blue cage. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I always love the big blue cage. Big blue cage. Tag team style. We're going to do a tag team cage match. Los Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo Guerrero. I love those belts, by the way. Those SmackDown tag team titles, 2002, 2003. I always loved those belts way more than those Raw belts. The World Tag Team titles. I think it's the blue. Eddie and Chavo, tag team cage match against The New Day. Man, we're coming up with some pretty damn banging matches tonight. We're 4 for 4 so far. I like where this is going. I love Big Blue. Now we have... We have a Firefly Funhouse match. But this was going to be the women's match. A women's Firefly Funhouse match? All right, well, let's see. Let's see where this ends up. Gail Kim. And she'll be stepping into the Firefly Funhouse with Beth Phoenix. But not just any Beth Phoenix. It is angry Beth Phoenix. So what would that look like? Because from the original Firefly Funhouse match, It was almost like they were dipping into like their past, right? So what would we have flashbacks to? I wonder. It'd be a real mind fuck. It'd be like an acid trip. All right, we got one more. We got one more to go. This could be the rare double sweep. We have a hair match. Someone is going bald at the end of this match. The only question is, who's it going to be? Let's find out. Someone is going cue ball here, and it is possibly going to be Ric Flair. There he is with the winged eagle. I mean, if ever there was an image that screamed 1992, it is this one right here. Ric Flair in the main event, defending the winged eagle in a hair match. Oh, this is not fair. This is not fair. No, this doesn't work. Hold on a second. Wait a minute. This is... No. You can't do that. You can't have a hair match with someone who's already bald. Moose and Ric Flair in a hair match. This is unfair. I cannot allow this. I don't know what to do here. I cannot allow this to happen. Oh man, Flair going bald. No, I feel like we have to pick somebody else. We have to pick a different person. Either a different person or a different stipulation. We gotta pick a different person. We cannot allow this. That's right. I forgot. Thank you, Steve. I forgot. I'm not allowed to complain. I'm not allowed to complain because I'm not a wrestler of the highest caliber. I am but a podcaster. I am but a YouTuber. I am not allowed to complain. Moose told me so. Well, fuck that. We're picking someone new. Can't criticize the Moose match here. Oh, but I think we ended up with a much better solution here. The phenomenal AJ Styles. We did it. We pulled it off. The rare double sweep. You know, though, it would almost be a shame for AJ to lose those flowing locks. Remember WrestleMania 33, that shot? That like zoomed in hard cam shot with his hair blowing in the wind. He looked like he could be a freaking shampoo spokesperson. Someone's going bald here. It's either going to be bald AJ or bald Ric Flair. Take your pick, but that'd be a hell of a match. Flair in his prime against AJ Styles. Hair versus career. Hey, I like it. And that is how you do be the booker. Toya says, solo booking better matches than SmackDown. Well, that's not really hard to do now, is it? I do have a better roster at my disposal. I mean, I've got like 160 names in the men's one alone. We got a lot of legends in there. And Moose. He's in there too. Soccer mom hair. What is AJ? 48? He's lucky he has his hair. Bald Rick for sure. Oh yeah, Flair's going bald for sure. Flair's losing that. Flair's going bald. It's all good. AJ uses hymns. Anyway, needs more don't worry, there's gonna be changes coming to be the booker. Don't you worry. But anyway, I'm glad we got that double sweep tonight. We needed that. After this SmackDown, we needed that. Perfect. Perfection. Now, can we replicate that tomorrow? That's going to be up to you guys. You bring the heat and you bring the likes. Maybe we get to do this again. Because I will be live after Saturday night's main event. I hope you're ready to rumble. Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu. Going to be talking about all of it as soon as the show is over tomorrow night. Come back here live on the channel, and I will have the full review for you. And then on Sunday, we have episode 948 of the podcast coming up on Sunday afternoon, weather permitting. Weather and internet connection permitting. That'll be on Sunday afternoon. AJ will put Nair on Flair's head. And then Flair pulls what he did in 91 and leaves Be the Booker territory rather than shave his head off. We'll do what Jim Herd tried to do. Jim Herd actually had him cut his hair. He wanted him to put an earring in, too. He was going to be Spartacus. We'll just have Flair be Spartacus. Oh, man. Zachary, shout out to Zachary Torres. Austin Tucker will not be able to watch, but he'll be here for the review. Well, that's all you need. All you need to do is be here for the review. I got you covered. Be well. Stay safe. Have yourselves a great rest of your night. It's late. I'm going to get out of here. And I will see you in less than 24 hours for the Saturday night's main event review. Thank you for making this a fun night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.